taking the afternoon off?
Ron, Sue. Just had lunch with Bill and made him a deal to sell him my old clubs.
I better call Judy. Is it okay if I use your phone?
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Thanks.
So the commissioner called and wants some info on the space management program. When you finish that letter, will you bring me in the latest cost and allotment report?
Well, I'm afraid the latest one we have is 3 or 4 weeks old.
I don't doubt it, but we just have to do.
Hi, honey. What you doing?
Just finishing up a hard morning's labor in the yard.
Well, you picked a good day for it.
And how do you know it's a beautiful day?
Because Joe and I went out to lunch today. Say, honey, we got $60 to bank.
Darn if I know. Why?
Well, because old Joe here won a new set of golf clubs in last week's tournament. He wants to sell me his gold ones. They're a real good deal.
Anything you say, dear.
Yeah, I know, but what about the $60 you have in the checking account?
It's like I told you, Bill, I honestly don't know. I write checks, you write checks. All I ever know is what the bank says we have when they send us a statement.
Well, of all that's stupid. You mean to tell me you don't keep a running account of your check stubs?
Oh, I keep a list of what I write. A sort of on the cuff, as you say. But how do I know what you're doing with that fast-drawn ballpoint of yours?
I still say it's stupid. After all, you're supposed to be head of the family finance section, you know. Hey, are you in the pool?
Having a wonderful time. Wish you were here.
Hard day's work, huh?
Okay, big shot. But tell me something. You're always bragging about how many millions of dollars you managed for Uncle Sam. How much does he have in his account right this minute?
Oh, but honey, that's different.
I don't see any difference. You expect me to be able to tell you our balance to the penny anytime, day or night. I have only a pen and a dinky check stub to work with. But you've got all those bookkeepers and all those machines.
Look, baby, you just wouldn't understand.
I understand, all right. I'll bet you can't tell this minute within $100,000 just how much you have in any of those million-dollar projects of yours.
Okay, I'm sorry I brought up the subject. Look, I'll talk to you later and see you tonight, huh?
Sure, darling. And go ahead and buy those clubs. I simply have enough to cover them.
Okay, honey, I'll talk to you later.
Oh.
Sounds like the office is not the only place that's having fund control problems.
You can say that again. Well, anyhow, she told me I could write out a check. Don't be too rough on me if this one bounces.
Okay, Bill, you've got a deal. Now, let's get down to the more serious facts of life. That information the commissioner wanted, for instance.
Boy, this lunch really cost me money with you swindling me out of $60 I may not even have.
Stop your griping, Bill. After all, those clubs won me the tournament, didn't they?
You could talk me into anything.
Now, under the space management program, can you tell me how much we have left in the quarter and how we stand in the plan?
Not until you show me how to unravel this miserable bunch of gibberish.
What do you mean?
Well, in the first place, Joe, for all I know, this may be nothing more than a sexy correspondence between two lovesick computers. It's nothing but symbols and numbers all over the page. There's not a word of plain English in the whole bundle.
Well, I guess that's the way computers talk, Bill.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Computers can be made to print out the English language just as easily as they can be programmed to dish out a mess of gobbledygook. Now, you asked me a little while ago whether I can tell you how much is left for the quarter in this report, okay?
Okay.
Not on your life. First of all, I've got to get Jack and a budget analyst, and they've got to review their cup records. And then I only hope they come up with the right answers. Furthermore, do you know what else Judy said?
No, but I'll bet it was a gem.
She bet that we couldn't tell within $100,000 how much balance we have in any of our accounts this very minute.
She's probably right, but...
Joe, we've got the greatest rear-view mirror accounting system in the world. We can tell the boys in Washington anything they want to know about what happened 2 months ago or a month ago. But when it comes to what happened yesterday or where we're going, we haven't got a chance. Now, Joe, you and I have got to know what's ahead of us as well as what's behind. Otherwise, we can't plan for future activities and commitments. As it is now, every report we get is past history.
Now, look, Bill, you're used to private business. I've been griping about these things for a long time. The government is different.
But it doesn't have to be. Look, here's the administrator's report to Congress. Now, it's signed by Robert L. Klunzig himself, and his first words are these, quote, during 1969, GSA turned the spotlight on people, those who work for the agency and those whom the agency serves, unquote. Now, Joe, I'm people, and you're people, and it's people like us these reports have to help. Oh, boy. If I were running this show, there'd be some changes made.
You know that really happened? About a year ago. Bill was so frustrated, so utterly sick and tired of trying to beat the system, he thought he could change it. Well, I've been here for 25 years, and I know you can't. And I got to thinking about it. Maybe Bill really had something there. So I said, to hell with it, let's try. When I talked to some of the other fund managers about the idea, I find out, man, oh man, Bill and I weren't the only ones.
Doggone it. Why can't they use plain language to describe the object class?
How am I supposed to know where I'm going when the obligations aren't told at the activity level?
Damn it, the 3-digit level is too high. The summaries of the obligations are not at the same level as my operating plan.
So here comes my cost and allotment report. Great. Now I have to go back to the old-fashioned deduction method to find out my total obligations for the month or the quarter or the day.
I say it's a crock of calcimine. These reports don't tell me a thing about the unobligated balance at the level I need it. How am I supposed to know where I stand with the operating plan?
Confound it. These quarterly payroll obligations are not shown at the operating plan level.
Why can't they just once, give me a plain language description of my activities?
Now, just what in the hell do I need with all these general ledger details? At the allotment activities level, it just adds to the general confusion.
How do they suppose a warehouse or record center manager can use these reports? Even the subtotals and page breaks aren't programmed to furnish them the information they need to do their job.
Well, there were plenty of gripes, all right. Some of them were petty, of course. But most of the complaints were full of merit, containing the frustrations of fund managers at every level. All pleading for the proper tools of their trade, timely reports containing meaningful information to help them do their jobs more efficiently. They even criticized having to keep their own employment staffing reports.
All the information for the employment staffing report, except vacancies, is available within the present payroll system. Why not automate these reports? We now type these up from a card file we maintain manually. It would certainly eliminate a lot of manual work and save money, right?
Right, and the same goes for GSA Form 685, the monthly report of filled positions. All of the input data is already in the payroll system, so why not automate the report of filled positions as well as the employment staffing report?
Holy mackerel! Here's a bunch of FedStrip requisitions, some of them nearly 2 months old. Why can't we obligate the funds when the requisitions are issued? Now I don't know where I stand.
Travel isn't obligated either. It only shows up when it's paid or as a month-end accrual. It's just impossible to control limitation travel without cuff records. And I got one man on that most of his time.
I'm supposed to control the funds for recurring services, such as printing or telephones. The only time I can find out what they are is from the allotment history. A lot of good that does me.
I'm not in an accounting center, and boy does it take a long time to get those reports by mail. If only they would send them to me by some sort of automated.
It certainly didn't take long to find out what was wrong with the old system, once we let it be known that we were interested in the improvement of reporting procedures. Paul Carter, Director of Finance at GSA, was quick to recognize the problem. He presented his findings to W.L. Johnson, Assistant Administrator for Administration of GSA.
That's just the way it is. Fund managers simply don't have the reports they need. Right content, right frequency in order to control their funds. I think we ought to get busy right away and see if we can develop a new system to give them what they really need.
I agree with you, Paul. I think the managers need better reporting. But what do you think the system will cost us?
Well, we can undertake the feasibility study with the existing staff. The real problem is working out the techniques. I'm convinced that if we can figure out the right techniques, the system will end up saving GSA money.
That'll be excellent. I think we ought to get started as soon as possible, so that whatever system implementation we do, we can do the first of the year.
That meeting was held on Thursday, April 10th, 1969. The very next day, Paul Carter dictated a memorandum he titled Improvements in Regional Financial Reporting. Addressing Richard H. Greenberg, Chief of Finance, Region 9, Carter outlined the project and then set forth some guidelines.
We would like you to undertake this project as project director, using your existing staff with the cooperation of the financial people in the accounting centers and non-accounting. The objectives of the project will be several-fold. The primary purpose will be to improve the reports for management and control purposes. In the past, there have been several comments concerning the content and frequency of financial reports. Okay, Donna, how about reading that last paragraph back, please?
Okay. One of the major areas that we want to explore is management-type fund status reporting, period. Another major area we want fully explored is CUF records, period. We would like to increase the level of detail at which we maintain our accounting and improve the frequency of our reporting so as to eliminate the need for CUF records, period. The business of CUF records is extensive at the regional level.
This Richard Greenberg is a real fireball type of guy. Within 24 hours, he had reviewed the project with the administrator of his own Region 9, Tom Hannon, and his assistant for administration, Charles Grant. He had also recruited the services of Robert Stacy, Director of Administration, Region 6, and Peter J. Minardi, who holds the same position in Region 8, to act as his advisors. Greenberg immediately met with Paul Carter, GSA Director of Finance, and members of his staff at Central Office. They all agreed to serve on the project task force, reflecting the thinking of management at the Washington level. A liaison officer in each of the regions was appointed, and representatives from each region were designated to travel to San Francisco to work with Finance Division staff on developing the project. In his own headquarters, he handed out assignments to 10 Region 9 staff people, and let them know in no uncertain terms that he didn't want any grass growing under their feet.
Now, our job is to complete this feasibility study. And I do mean complete, not later than September 1. Personally, I'd like to do it a hell of a lot faster than that. Because if we find this study to be feasible, there's an awful lot of work to be done between now and June 30, 1970. With that kind of a deadline, I'll tell you what let's do. Just as a reminder, let's call this whole thing Project 70.
You see what I mean? Within days, Greenberg, Minardi, and Stacy had their heads together in Kansas City to detail what had to be done.
Central Office has heard a lot of gripes, complaints about our present reporting system. The timeliness, the frequency, and the accuracy and usefulness of such reports. We've got to do something about it. Now, as I see it, what we should do is take these complaints, sort them out, see which ones are valid, and then see what we can do about it.
This looks like a whale of a job for the Finance Division.
Pete's right, Richard, but it's our job to do.
Well, maybe so, but let's get organized to do it. Let's prepare a questionnaire. We've got to get a fast start on this thing. We'll send it to every operating head, every division chief, in every region, listing every complaint that we can think of.
Sounds like a good start.
But Richard, don't you think you ought to get out and talk to everybody personally?
Robert, you mean we. I would like to have you take Regions 5 and 7.
Agreed.
Pete, if you'll take Regions 1 and 2.
All right.
We can move ahead pretty rapidly on this. We must get it done before the end of May.